Hey everybody, welcome back to our coverage of the IAE 2954 here at New Babbage Microtech. Today is the second day of the event, and we're going to be covering Aegis Dynamics. They're one of the premier combat brands in the game, used for military ships and combat all over. So let's go ahead and see what they have in store for us today, shall we?
Capsule now approaching station. Stand clear of disembarking passengers. The capsule will be leaving the station momentarily.
Weird little audio bug going on. Here's a logo of Aegis Dynamics. You can see it's sort of like an A shape, and we're going to see that in various vehicle designs as we peruse the hall. So just like before, it's the same opening here. Just this time we have commercials relative to this company. You can already start to make out a giant starship over there. As you can see today, the hall is far more filled out because this is a very prolific brand. So, like before, we will start in the middle, and then we will check out the underneath, and then we'll check out the side halls. Alright, well, I think we should immediately address this giant ship. And we can talk about the sabers in a minute. First of all, this gigantic behemoth of a ship. As you can see here, it's called the Reclaimer. This ship is for reclaiming ships, basically turning them into salvage and scrap. It has these dual scraping beams. These beams, see there's one here and then there's one over there. So there's multiple people can use this simultaneously. That scrapes the material off of the outside of starships, and that's actually very valuable. And then when you're done, this giant claw thing opens up, and it basically disintegrates the hull of the ship, and then you get a different type of material there. You can see this is really a behemoth of a ship. I mean, look at how big these landing gears are. And I believe that there's even these are actual jets that fire. So I believe the landing gear are also engines. Alright, so there's two entrances. There's in the back there's a cargo lift. And then here there is actually a elevator for the pilot and bridge crew. But this is a single person elevator, so if you're boarding with multiple people, you'll have to take your time with this, or you'll have to go into the back. This is actually a kind of an old ship in terms of ship designs. This one was designed long before we had physicalized components. Okay, and we have just fallen out of the ship. That is not exactly normal. That's okay, we'll just give it another try. We didn't, I don't think, take any serious damage or anything. Okay, we've fallen through again, so let's just go ahead and take the rear lift. use an example of one of the turrets aboard the ship. This is a remote turret, you can tell. Here's the camera for it. Alright, so I think this is the elevator here. But how we get it to come down, that is going to be the trick. Some ships have buttons that you specifically need to push. Some, as you saw before, just have an indicator. So we managed to trigger it. So we'll just explore it from the rear forward. That looks like somebody managed to bring some NPCs aboard. So first of all, we actually have a lot of different places we can go to here. I believe the bottom one is cargo hold. Let's go take a look at that first. This ship actually does hold quite a bit of cargo space, mainly again for the salvage crates that you'll pick up. So here's the cargo room. I've spent many times just coming down here, bringing boxes from the salvage room down in here. And it actually holds quite a bit, and it's quite organized, as you can see. If we continue up a little bit more, we have the salvage hold. Well, this should be directly below the salvage deck. And you'll see why in just a second. So this is another area where you can hold materials, although these are not currently gravity plates. But if you see these sort of triangle symbols here, this is meant to be a cargo of space. And basically, from the deck above, you can just toss things down here, and then another person here can manage the cargo. Again, this is definitely a multi-person ship. This is not the kind of ship that you take out solo, although if you really wanted to, you can, but it's not recommended. Alright, if we continue up a bit further, we come to the, oh, is that a player? This is a player probably trying to leave. Well, we will actually want to go to salvage processing. Alright, we'll let this guy get off before we go and explore. Don't want him to be stuck. So, we're gonna make our way to salvage processing. This is where you actually view the salvage box creation. So in the past, this is usually where I like to work on the ship. So this is just a big cargo room, but basically you use these machines here, and as people in the front are salvaging, you'll see the internal storage fill up, and you'll have an opportunity to select the cargo size that you want. So this thing can spit out, either singles, doubles, quads, 8 times, 16 times, and they might even be 32 times, I'm not sure. But these pop out gigantic boxes, and you can temporarily put them in these areas. These actually have the lockdown cargo plates here. There, and also this side as well. So quite a bit of space for all the salvage that you're going to be getting. And then there's also a balcony above, which we'll take a look at. This ship also features in various missions, and some of the missions that you'll go to, you'll find that this entire salvage area is actually converted into other things, like a warehouse with desks and things, or maybe even like a medical facility with perhaps dark intent. But really a huge space. You cannot actually stack the boxes this high, but that might be something they fix in the future. As we continue on, we're going to go to the habitation deck. This will lead us to the rest of the entire ship. But again, we're still in the rear of the ship, so we're near these rear airlocks. And these airlocks not only are nice sized proper airlocks, but they actually have suit lockers. These are non-functioning right now, but someday. And potentially these could be supply containers for actually putting items. And you'll see it's duplicated on the other side. And then here we have what's called the subdeck. This kind of goes into an engineering area, which is, again, not complete. But here we have the engineering core. This is the power core. Eagle-eyed viewers will actually notice that these power core units here actually resemble exactly what you see in the Polaris and its engineering bay. You'll find that it has something very similar underneath a layer of coolant liquid. So this is where the engineering station is, and where the engineer will manage various things. I think this can be component access, but again, this ship was built before they had built proper component access. Also be careful coming back here. We're in the expo hall, but this space in particular, there's lots of different atmospheric holes where you can choke if you're not wearing a helmet. As we continue here, you'll see that we have multiple rooms. Here is the crew bunks. As you can see, 4 beds, and I believe they also have a shower room in here. It's not exactly the most beautiful of ships. It's designed to look like it's been well used. And in fact, many people, when they see this ship, especially the landing gear, they think very much the movie Aliens. And you definitely get that vibe, especially when you're boarding this the ship when you're doing missions. So these are basically the captain's quarters. Captain gets his own bathroom and bedroom and whatnot. Their own special desk. And one of the nice things is that this ship actually features quite a few mirrors. I'm sorry, not mirrors, but windows. There's quite a few ships out there that just don't have any windows practically. But this ship actually has some. Here's the mess hall and kitchen area, with again these nice precious windows. Usually it's not quite this foggy in here. I think this is an effect of the expo for some reason. So there's also a docking collar here. This was built again long before they figured out what they wanted to do for docking. And nowadays they don't build docking collars like this, so when they go back and redo the ship, which they will do eventually, they will fix that and make it much more usable. Here we have what they call the tech deck. Here's escape pod access. I believe believe is there some more on the other side? Nope, we have some sort of computer systems. There are sort of couches, if you want to call them that. Now, I believe that in here, this is the, there's supposed to be some sort of maybe refining or quality improvement sort of system here. But again, this is all built before they knew what they wanted. Okay, drone operator seat. So this might be, again, drones for doing the salvaging. We have the upper turret. Here's the gravity generator. This thing looks beautiful. There's actually a mission in game where you board one of these ships where the gravity generator is malfunctioning, and there's parts of the ship which don't have gravity. So we could take this ladder. This is a good emergency ladder. But there's also this elevator we can take instead. Okay, and then there's where the ladder comes down, right over here. And then this is actually where we were trying to board originally. This is the elevator. Now you'll see that there's this interesting grinding system in here. This was again built long before they knew what they wanted to do for salvage, and this is probably going to get reworked. Right now we just use some various beams and things for breaking down ships, but the original idea was that you would actually physically put components in here and it would get munched down. Here we have various consoles here for the remote turrets and also scanning. This is mainly like a defensive situation here. And then here I believe is some more escape pods. And then here's the bridge. The bridge actually has room for 3 or 4 people. So these are the 2 salvaging beam consoles. This is the pilot seat right here. So this is your sort of interesting view here. And then finally, this is the munching chair, the claw. So again, you only do this after you've already taken the valuable surface material off of the ship, but then you use the claw to get the rest. Also keep in mind, if you're salvaging ships, you can manually go out there in space and you can pull off guns and components out of the ship, and sometimes even cargo. So it's highly recommended that you explore the vessels that you're actually trying to salvage. I guess we already sent it down. This is a very old ship, so you'll see all sorts of bugs and things that don't look quite finished or as detailed as other things are in this game. And that's just a consequence of its age. But no matter what ship you have in this game, the company is gonna go back and improve and redo these ships to make sure everything's up to the proper quality levels. So you don't have to worry. Alright, so here is a standard combat ship, the Saber. These have kind of fallen out of favor, but it's still a pretty decent ship. You can see it's got 4 guns. It probably has some missiles in here somewhere. Let's see what they say. Oh, stealth fire. So there is stealth in this game. There's basically 3 types of detection: your infrared, your electromagnetic signal, and also your cross-section, which is your physical size and shape. So a ship like that, the big one, is going to have a huge cross-section, but also the other things are going to be pretty high as well. So ships like the Saber here, they will give a straight percentage bonus to stealth, but also you can manually buy stealth components in game, and those will also help hugely for reducing your temperature and EM signatures. So you can see that there's this Masters of Flight thing mentioned here. Years ago, CIG did this thing where they made the same vessels, but with like a different customized loadout of guns. You can see the guns are a bit different. And then they also gave it like a special paint job. If you're buying these types of ships, I would say don't get these special versions. They're generally not worth the price for the components. It's really just a high tax just for this unique skin. So unless you can't live without this skin, I would say avoid the specialized version of these ships. Alright, let's go downstairs and see what they have for us in the display halls. Alright, this is a newcomer. This is the Peregrine. This is based off of a ship that's probably on the other side. This is actually a missile boat. It looks very similar to the ship up above, but down here, this whole thing opens up and it's just full of missiles. And it can shoot huge salvos of missiles. And they look particularly beautiful because they shoot sort of downward at an angle and then they angle back toward the target. So really beautiful, but again, it's really just a missile boat type of ship. Trying to jump on this for a better view, but it doesn't look like it's going to let us. But maybe we can just get inside to get a look. There we go. We're just too into the ceiling. But it's a very fancy looking ship. It's very fast. And yeah, its main claim to fame again is just basically its huge amount of missiles. So if you're into missiles, this is what you want. But I'm not hugely into just missile ships. Now if we continue to the other side, we have what looks like a million NPCs standing around. So this is a similar version. Obviously it's got guns on these sides there. So this thing also has the missile launcher, I guess? Wait, what does this one say? Is this the racing one, maybe? So yeah, so this is actually the racing version. Okay. So then the missile one is over here, the Firebird. So, small difference, but if you're looking for combat, you want this one. If you're just looking for racing, you want the other one. But I believe it looks very, very similar. Yeah. The same kind of engine design. And yeah, again, the missiles just come out the bottom here. And it's got just tons of rows of missiles. Alright, let's see what we have in the display hall then. Okay, now this one is a ship that is a huge fan favorite. This is a capital combat ship called the Aegis Idris. You'll find this one specifically in the single player game that they're building. Now this model doesn't look very detailed, but this ship is actually already in game, but it's just not fully complete on the interior. But this whole front section basically opens up both sides, and the entire middle of the ship is just one long hangar bay. This back also opens up, so you can go front to back. It's got an amazing cockpit up top, where you can oversee the battle with many turrets up top. But the real weapon is this weapon on the front here. This is a railgun. I forget the size of it, but you hit almost any ship in the game with that railgun, and it's toast. And you can see it actually fly past you. It's pretty scary. What else can I say? Currently, it's not flyable in game for players, just various missions and things. So it's kind of like the big boss bad guy that you fight in game. It also has a lot of newly added point defense turrets, which will shoot down missiles and things. So it's really a behemoth, I will say. And also beware, if you're actually trying to buy the ship, not only is it extremely expensive, and it's hull limited, which means they only sell it at very specific times, and only a certain amount. But most versions you get will not include this railgun or the turrets. It's kind of like a stripped down, like military surplus version, but you'll be able to eventually in game re-outfit it with everything you need. Over here we have the Vulcan. I knew that. So as it says here, refuel, repair, rearm. It's a medium-sized vessel that's designed to be a support vessel. And this is actually the front here. This is where the cockpit will be. And yeah, I believe it also has drones, maybe? But its entire purpose is basically to just repair and maintain a fleet of ships. Really something that you probably will want to use if you're part of a big org and you're all coming with a big fleet of ships. It'll make sense for somebody to have a Vulcan, but this is a ship that's been in production or concept for a long time, so we're not going to get it anytime soon. But also look here, it mentions you can basically refuel people's quantum fuel, so if people get stuck somewhere and they need fuel, you could potentially be that repair truck that goes out there and saves the day. And now here's the model list, I believe it's called. So this is interesting. This is also a ship that's been in concept for quite a while. It's a very cool looking ship, actually. It has some very large sized guns right on the front. With some turrets. But this is basically a mine laying ship. So that's what these things of top and bottom are. They eject mines. And they can also eject turrets. So imagine being able to place orbital turrets around to protect a space station or protect a mining area. So it's a very classy looking ship, but very niche in terms of what it's designed to do. And we have no idea when we're going to get that in game. But it's going. CIG hasn't forgotten about it. Look at all these NPCs. The Firebird is actually a relatively new ship. That's one in the Peregrine. They came out this year, I believe. Or was it late last year? I can't remember. Alright, let's see. Let's check out the side halls. So what we see there is actually a ship that's not for sale. And that's one of these sabers. Instead of the Saber Peregrine or the Saber Firebird, it's the Saber Raven. And it was only sold as a, well, not even sold, it's like a redeemable code that you would get from buying certain intel things. I think memory. And it's basically an EMP version of the ship. So here's the Gladius. And then this is just a special version of it. Again, remember the Masters of Flight here, it's just the customized version. And it seems to look the same in terms of paint job as the standard version. So, the Gladius is a staple in this game. It's a light fighter, and it has proven itself time and time again. If you're looking for dogfighting combat, this is an excellent choice. And in use by the in-game military quite heavily. Now here we have the Hammerhead. This thing is a bit of a beast. And you can see these turrets here. These are quad size 4 guns. Repeaters in particular. Now you'll see that there's 4 on each side. And then there's also an upper top turret. But what's so interesting about this ship is that you actually command it from underneath the ship. Let's go ahead and get aboard and take a look. One of the neat things about this ship is that it actually has an upper section that a lot of people don't even notice for crew habitation. But this is a fan favorite ship for just going and doing combat. Many players will grab these and grab their friends, and then you'll just have so much firepower. This is the airlock, by the way, which is interestingly right at the front of the ship. It's a very interesting design. So while we're here, we're going to take a look at the bridge, which is also accessible right here. And then this is basically the bridge. This is a very interesting way to control and view a ship. I mean, it makes landings very easy because you have glass everywhere here, so you can see exactly where you're landing. I think the co-pilot can only fire missiles. You have plenty of screens above, and a couple at the chair. But it's all very militaristic in terms of its design, you know, there's no real creature comforts here. There's also an emergency ladder here in case your elevator's not working. This is pretty common in a lot of ships, but worth mentioning. Again, more turret access. But there's an upper deck here, which we'll take a look at in a second. This is the middle turret. Here we go, the captain's quarters. You know, very militaristic, you know, not the most comfortable of situations. But who's gonna complain, right? What you have is just extreme firepower. So if that's what you're looking for in terms of picking out fighters and medium and even large size ships, this will do just very well. So we'll come back to take a look at the upper section in a minute. This is where components are meant to go, but this is actually a very old ship again. So it doesn't really have proper component spaces. Here's a crew bathroom. Lots of crew beds. Because, again, it's not just about manning the turrets, it's also about eventually having a proper crew to manage the engineering and repairs of your ship. When your ship catches fire, you need people there to put out the fires. Here's the rear cargo area, which can actually hold a decent-sized vehicle. It can hold like an Archer rover, for example. Which is now elevated to the upper area, looks like. We'll take a look at that in a moment. This engine looks like it's irradiating me. And which is the final rear turret. I think this is rear underneath turret. It doesn't look like it would go up, but it would go down. Alright, let's go ahead and take this elevator. We'll call it first.
I tell you, there's nothing like being at the IAE. Seriously, pretty good. Last year, though.
Alright, so now we're in the upper section of the ship. This is supposed to be a window, I believe, which lets us see what's going on, but it's all blacked out right now for some reason. Again, more components throughout the ship, but these all have to be redone. See, it's not actually properly opening. Here's the mess hall, which is a bit weird because all the habitation's kind of below. But what's neat is that, again, it's a blackout, unfortunately, but this is actually a glass roof here, so you can actually see above to space. And then, what do we have here? Just storage, I guess? Like I say, there's many people who fly the ship who never come up here, and they may not even be aware of what's all the way up here. But someday it'll become important and relevant. So that's pretty much it for the ship. It's basically a long, multi-super turret ship. So we're just gonna fall out of the front here. Another interesting quirk of the ship, which we'll just mention very briefly, is that there's actually a cutout section in the middle. Again, these windows are black for us on the inside, but normally they're viewable when you're in space, or when you own the vehicle. And yeah, just kind of an interesting, weird design, but still very powerful, despite its age. Let's take a look at the map here, because I think there's another room just to the north of this. Yeah.
Hi. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with.
Yeah, this is gonna be a long one today, because they have a lot of ships here. Just gonna run through the cargo diorama. Alright, so these ones on the outside we're going to start with first. So this is what's called the Avenger. Or, wait a minute, that's actually a version of it. Oh yeah, so they'll call the Avenger. So this is the Titan. This is basically the most recommended starting ship from content creators. It gives you very powerful weapons, 2 size 3s and 1 size 4. It's a very simplified ship. It has just limited cargo space, but enough for a starting ship. And you could actually fit certain vehicles in here. It's a snug fit, but it could work. It has a bed. Not much else. Really just a very basic ship, but a starter ship, and a decent one for the price that you pay for it. This one's the Stalker. This is going to be a stealth version of it. I think it probably looks the same. Oh, wait. Oh, this is actually a criminal one, I believe. So these are policing pods, and we'll double check on the console in a minute. But I believe this is where you can put prisoners that you apprehend. So if you're into the bounty hunting gameplay, you can definitely use this ship here. Yep, cargo hold for prisoner transport. Bring them in cold or warm, your choice. Don't look at his beautiful ship as we go through the other ones. Alright, here we have the Avenger Warlock. This is basically one where they rip out the cargo and in exchange you get an EMP system. It's very pretty looking. But this lets you put out an EMP pulse. It's not very effective against ships with their shields on, but if you've disabled their shields, and you can EMP pulse and disable all sorts of systems aboard the ship. And this one, the Renegade, this is just going to be the Master of Flight version, I believe. Yep. So it's basically the standard ship, but with a special paint job and different guns on it. But internally it's the same as the standard. So these are a bunch of just, how we call them, starter ships and fighters. And now we have this one. This is the Redeemer. This was actually designed by players during one of the Citizen Cons. Players were able to get into groups and design their own starships. And then they competed for which one was the best and coolest ship. And in this one actually won, so CIG actually had to build this ship. Now what's cool is we can't see it here, but these engines actually open up, and the thrust comes from the inside of the top and bottom of these sections. They have like this V-shaped engine setup. It's very unique, very cool. It has very powerful turrets on it. Especially the turrets on top. I believe they're kind of slow moving. Let's see if we can get a good look at it. Okay, yeah, that's a very heavy turret on top with chain guns. This is a very heavy turret as well down here. And there's a front one as well. So it's just loaded with turrets, and it even has some pilot guns as well. But not only is it a gunship, but it also is basically a dropship for troops. So you have 4 beds, wardrobe. This is cargo space, bathroom. It actually kind of it comes with this cupboard with some food supplies. Wardrobe. Oop, I just closed it. Oh wait, now it's open. Okay. So we come up to the top, and this is where the action happens. So here's the pilot seat up front. And in flank on either side are these remote turret seats. Then here in the middle is a non-remote turret. You actually physically get in this one, and it puts you down into the lower turret. These things move during operation as well. These giant sort of pump systems. Even you have component access beyond this door over here. But you also have these jump seats for the crew. I play a doctor in the game very often, so for me this is like where I would sit and let the other people be the turrets. So we have various components here, including gigantic shield generators and gigantic power supplies. It actually bothers me how big this power supply is. The next smallest ship that features a power supply this size is at least double the size of this ship. So, I'm kind of angry about it personally. I feel like it's outside of what should be reasonable. But, oh well, if you want a kind of overpowered ship, this one is what you're looking for. Because again, it's small enough that you get the maneuverability, but with crew you have really, really powerful weapons. All around, a really great ship for doing missions in the verse. Alright, now we're gonna run our butt across the hall, which is gonna take a minute. Also, my character is getting deathly thirsty. So let's just go ahead and grab a little snack over here. This is a good time to mention that various food products actually have buffs and debuffs sometimes. So I like to drink the Synergy. This comes in 3 different colors and flavors, but it's extra hydrating. So what that means is that you basically will dehydrate much more slower than normal. And you can see in the bottom left corner where you see that my liquid just went up, there's now a plus. That's letting you know that you have a buff to your hydration basically.
Hey, back again.
And as Rio's here, these are an example of something that's dehydrating. So I don't recommend eating burritos, but they're often just convenient to grab. But just know that if you have them, you're gonna have to drink fuel. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to drink
We've got a pretty
liquid more often, more quickly. I feel like I need like a little segue in here.
This is a friendly reminder that the Tobin Expo Center is shared space. Please be mindful of other guests during your visit so that we can all enjoy this day together.
Okay, we're just gonna run straight across the hall. Right between the legs. But coming from this angle, you really get a sense of just how large that salvage ship. Oh, how large the salvage ship is. I will say also taking off from a planet with this thing, they've improved it, but it can be kind of difficult, especially in the past. There's been many a time when a person tries to fly this and then they try to do like a walking maneuver and then suddenly they're falling out of the sky. So just be careful. What do we got in here? Ooh, the Vanguards. So these vanguards, these are all basically long-range heavy fighters. Let's start all the way over on the side over here. So we're starting with the Harbinger. This is sort of the best combat version. It has the most powerful turret, I believe. And it also features large-sized missiles on the inside here. I forget the size of these missiles, but I want to say size 4, size 5. Something like that. Pretty powerful. But yeah, room for 2. Very basic. Mirrors the turret above. And then this is basically where you sit for your combat. And there's component access in here. All sorts of varied spots. But yeah, if you're just looking for straight combat, that's the one. But so this one here is the Hoplite. This one is a troop transport version.
I think I've seen enough of these.
So it trades a lot of the interior just for jump seats. And also weapon rack here, that's a lot of guns. And it also has a turret, I believe, yeah. So if you're looking for a really small dropship, like a fighter, come in fast and you know, off the radar, maybe you want the Hoplite. So this one's the Warden. I think this one is just sort of like the base model. It doesn't have the super torpedoes that the Harbinger has. This is basically just the starter edition, you could say. And then we have the Sentinel over here. This is the E-Warfare version. Now, we don't really have much E-Warfare built into the game yet, but as you can see, it's meant to feature a special augmented reality cockpit. It's still in development. It's supposed to have an E-War pod, wherever that is. We have no idea. Decoy missiles, and then EMP charges. So, we don't have decoy missiles. We don't have EMP charges. So instead, this just has a basic EMP system currently. So you can just EMP like any other normal EMP ship. But the coolest thing about this is just how fancy the ship is. It just is more high-tech looking. That's a component access. So a lot of people tend to like this one, but I will say the turret on top is weaker than like the Harbinger, and then it doesn't have those missiles either. But it does have the EMP, and I think on paper, technically it's very, very slightly more maneuverable, but that is basically negligible. So winner's choice is probably the Harbinger over there. Hoplite is not a bad choice if that's what you're looking for, but dropships in this game actually are extra expensive. And don't think that you'll just be able to fit however many people you want aboard any ship. There will be life support limitations, and a ship that's designed to carry a lot of people has the proper life support to handle it. So you just can't get away with just throwing it on anybody, on any ship. So I think, are these the final ones? Let's see. Yeah, these are the final ones. So last but not least, by any stretch of the imagination, we have two different, what do you call, torpedo boats. We have the Eclipse, and then the Retaliator. Now, the Retaliator, we'll get to that in a second, but it's actually modular. But in terms of missiles, if you get the missile module for the Retaliator, I believe these both fire size 9 missiles. But this one only holds, I believe, 3 size 9 missiles. Which are held down below. But this is basically a stealth fighter. It has just very wimpy guns, just in case weapons. But you're not really meant to fight with those guns. It's really meant to be used long range. Kind of sneak up on a ship from a distance, and you can fire off a torpedo when they're not thinking about it or realizing. I love the kind of blue in here. It's very stealthy feeling.
I have to say, I'm really
But the other way that you could use this type of ship is that you come in for what you might think of like a bombing run, and instead of using the targeting systems for the torpedo, you basically dumbfire the torpedo. And expert Eclipse pilots, they'll come in really close and they'll fire a torpedo at such range that you won't be able to react to it. So you should be scared of Eclipses. These things are actually very dangerous. And same with the Retaliator. But the Retaliator has a much stronger signal. And it has space for turrets, as you can see. I believe there's, turrets above on the sides. But it's a very cramped internal ship. Let's see, where was the elevator for this one? It's been a while since it came aboard this ship. This is an old boarding hatch. Again, from before they knew what they wanted to do with it. Okay, somewhere here there's gotta be elevator access. Here we go, this must be it. Alright, and we're aboard. Let's go with docking color here. It's got, oh, it has another one, but we'll see. So this is normally where the missiles would go, but they've recently actually created the modules for this. So it's now very much a modular ship. And you can put various things in the modules, like a cargo or the missiles, or habitation. So this also could be just like a flying home for somebody. This is the lower turret. So if you buy this, just be careful that you know that you're buying the base model and it doesn't come with any modules to begin with. It'll just be an open space, kind of like how you see here. You'd see again, it's a very claustrophobic sort of ship. But it's a warship, it's meant for combat.
Why not?
I really appreciate that they've got some of their classic designs
I
on
believe you sleep up here? Is that right? Yeah, here's the beds. So really not much in terms of accommodations here, you know? There was a bathroom, there are gun racks here. So it does have some things, but
About ready to. Let's go.
it's mainly just for combat. It's got the turrets, it's got the potential for the missiles. Or again, that's what usually is here. And if you have those missiles, it is a very strong combat ship. So if you're just looking for a decent solo ship to fire like powerful torpedoes at something, to kill something quickly, even though this is a multi-crew ship with its turrets and everything, this is actually a very good choice. But again, someday with fires and stuff, you're gonna have to worry about damage to your ship, so don't imagine just going solo. And they are eventually gonna give us NPC crew and whatnot, but their effectiveness is definitely a question and something up for debate. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Aegis. As you can see, all their ships are very military style. So, you know, if that's what you're looking for, if that's what your style is, then Aegis is your day. But it's not really my style. I don't own any Aegis ships whatsoever in my fleet, I don't believe. But to each their own. Anyway, we'll catch you next time for the next day of IAE. And I hope everyone's having a great event. Don't forget, there is a free fly right now, so if you want to participate, go ahead. And my code is there at the bottom of the screen that you can use. But there's no pressure. If you want to try the game, just come in and try the game and rent any ship you want and just see what you like and see what you feel about it. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments on the videos. Have a good one, everyone.